Hello and welcome to the Easily Excitable podcast. We are continuing last week's chat where we were talking about Devin Townsend, and then we moved on to Dream Theater. I have Adam with me. Hello.
Hello.
And yeah, let's get into it. This is the part where we're just going to start from Dream Theater onwards, and hopefully you enjoy it. That's almost as if we planned this, kind of, by saying, let's talk about Dream Theater, who we've both seen recently.
Oh, my days.
So, yeah. They are. Okay, so Dream Theater are doing their 25th anniversary tour of their album Images and Words, which came out in 1992, hence 25th anniversary. The album is the album that kind of pushed them into the mainstream for, I don't know, probably 4 months or so, when their hit Pull Me Under got recognised and was played on MTV. They brought out albums with comedic titles like Dream Theater's Greatest Hit and 22 other pretty cool songs. Because Pull Me Under is the only one that achieved any commercial success. And then, that whole album is one of the greatest albums that they've released. I would put it on the same tier as Awake, and those two albums being both just incredible.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
And it's hard for me to tell which one I prefer, other than I've heard Images and Words first. And yeah, that's it for me. Like, I heard Images and Words first, so that's the album I prefer. And so yeah, they were doing an evening with Dream Theater, I guess. That's the kind of thing that they've been doing in the past, where it's just them. They came out, played an hour-long set, then they had a short break, then they played the album in its entirety, and then they played a secret thing afterwards, which we'll get to later. Because, oh my god.
That was my reaction.
Yeah, I'll explain my reaction and why we had those reactions later. But they opened... I said to my dad before they started, like, if they play anything off Systematic Chaos, I will be very happy, because that's, like, my third or fourth favourite Dream Theater album, of which they have, like, 13, I think.
Yes.
I think. And they opened with The Dark Eternal Night from Systematic Chaos, and I was like, well, this is a very good time for all, isn't it?
Chunk.
And it's also, like, 9.5 minutes long. But it wasn't. It was, like, 12 minutes long, because rather than fading out, they finished the bit of the song that they hadn't written before.
Yeah.
Which they did on a few other songs as well. And yeah, like, they started with that. I was like, oh, this is going to be the best gig. This is just going to be the best gig. They're playing the entirety of that, and they played something from Systematic Chaos. So I was happy immediately. Then they played some stuff that I didn't really recognise, probably because it's from two of their more recent albums, The Astonishing and probably the Dream Theater self-titled album. But they also played Breaking All Illusions, which I wasn't anticipating either.
Awesome.
Which is so good, because that song's like a real movement in itself. It changes drastically from like how it starts. It's super technical and riffy, and then they go into a chordy section with the singing. Although that seems pretty typical Dream Theater. But it is, again, like 9 minutes long. And
It's got one of my favourite intros to a song ever. The whole, like, the start of that song is great.
yeah, it's just ludicrous time signatures. It's like, I was going to say it starts in 11/8, but I'm pretty sure it starts in 15/8 and then
It
messes
changes
around.
whatever it does.
Yeah.
It,
What book was I looking at? I was looking at I've got the Awake book, and there's a section in the instrumental track Erotomania where it's like, it goes 13/8 for one bar, 12/8 for one bar, 13/8 for one bar, 12/8 for one bar, and then they move to like 7/4 the next bar. It's like, guys, what are you doing? What are you doing?
it's like, guys, stop, please. Calm down.
Stop with the time changes. And yeah, so like Breaking All Illusions just has one of the craziest riffs. I've never been now able to actually play it, because I just can't get there's bits in it so they're like just playing the notes, da 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 da, and then you've got like a cascading set of notes that that just blows my mind. I'm just like, I can't get that. I just can't hit all the notes in the right sequence at the right speed. Even if I do it slow, like, it's still challenging because you've got to make sure you're getting all the meters
right,
between the notes correct. And oh my,
I remember hearing that, being blown away by the song, because I think Dramatic Turn of Events is actually a pretty good album. It's like, I know that loads of people have issues with it, and that loads of people are saying, there's a fair shout that maybe a lot of the album's not very creative and original. But it came out on my birthday. That was cool. And the album cover sucks, and it's a rip-off of the Circus Maximus cover too. But
I know, right?
but I think that Bridges in the Sky, I think, is a great song. Breaking All Illusions, I think, is probably my favorite song on that album.
It's definitely my favorite song off that album. I don't know if I like many of the other songs. There's a...
On the Backs of Angels, I liked. That
yeah,
was cool.
yeah.
And it was in Sleeping Dogs. That was cool too.
Yeah.
But yeah, Breaking All Illusions is a classic example of me not being sure that John Myung is human, because you hear the intro and he plays like the counter melody riff against the intro, and it's a very simple bass part.
Yeah.
And then when it comes back after the keyboard joins in, he doubles it on bass on guitar, and I'm like, no, stop, no,
Oh man,
you're not allowed to do that. That's not okay.
Oh dear. Myung played a tribute to Jaco Pastorius.
Yeah, I played a Portrait of Tracy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you're such a bass player. That was like my immediate thought.
And that was really cool. There were people around me who were just like, oh, what is going on? And then there were other people who were just like, I didn't know basses could produce harmonics. And I was like, awesome. That was a cool time. And then they played some other songs as well before they went off for their break, of which I can't really remember.
They played Hell's Kitchen, which is off Falling into Infinity.
Oh, okay.
And then the rest of it's gone out my brain.
Yeah.
The rest of it might have been newer stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then they played As I Am.
Oh, yes, that's the one. They played As I Am, and in the break of it, they played Enter Sandman.
Enter Sandman, yeah.
We went to two completely...
There was a nice laugh when that happened.
Yeah, we went to two completely different gigs, but once you've seen the set like that they're playing, it'll be the same set now. And in the past, it didn't used to be, because Mike Portnoy, who was the previous drummer, used to make a rotating set of songs that they would play to ensure that the band never played the same set in the same town, and made sure that they got new music every time that the band went through there, which meant that everyone needed to know every song, essentially, at all times. Now they've got a new drummer in quotes, Mike Mangini. They've very much switched to these are the songs we're going to play. You'll see them every night of the tour. I guess that's why in the past a lot of people went to a lot of the gigs whenever they visited somewhere, to see all of the different songs. It's actually one of the reasons I've never seen one of the songs that's on the Images and Words album until recently. And yeah, I kind of like that they're now being like, we're a band, we'll play a proper set consistently. And I thought it was enjoyable that they were just like, yes, these are the songs that we're going to play. As I Am just blew me away. That's just a ridiculously good song. Train of Thought is an excellent album as well. It's maybe one of their heaviest albums. I'd put it on par with 6 Degrees in terms of heaviness. But it also... Yeah, go ahead.
It also has the negative point of being the album where James LeBrie raps. So...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we don't talk about that.
Yeah. They played nothing from Octavarium. I haven't heard anything from Octavarium for so long.
Yeah.
But that's another of my favourite albums. But that's because that was the first Dream Theater gig I went to. They were playing in support of that album. So.
Oh, cool. That was the first Dream Theater album that I got into.
Yeah.
It would have been 2008 or 9.
Yeah.
Someone was like, "Oh, hey, you should listen to this album. I think you'd like it." I heard Panic Attack, and I was just like, "What are these sounds?"
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah. There's another 24-minute song on there, but that's beside the point. So yeah, they finished their first set. Everyone was like, "Oh, that set was actually really good. We were actually real happy with that." I was real happy because they started with, like I said, a track from Systematic Chaos. They went away, and then they were like, "We're going to come back," and so they came back and talked to the crowd for a bit. Did they talk to the crowd before Pull Me Under?
A little bit, but
it was before Wait for Sleep. Wait for Sleep. Where LeBrie did his big chat. And yeah, they were clearly excited to be playing it. They had like a little montagey thing actually before they started. That's what it was that I was misremembering. And they came out, played Pull Me Under, which is like their big hit. And yeah, the whole crowd was really into it, which is unsurprising for a 25th anniversary tour of a specific album. They went in, played the whole album. They got to track 3, my favourite track, Take the Time, which I've never seen them play before.
Tune.
What's that?
Such a good tune.
Such an excellent song. It's easily my favourite Dream Theater song. On the second or third solo, Petrucci was a semitone out.
Oh.
Because I noticed it and I was like, no, that can't be right. I must just have broken ears. And then, like, when we were walking back to the car, I asked my dad, I was like, I think everything was right, apart from one of the bits of Take the Time. He's like, one of those solos was off. I was like, I knew it. And so, yeah, like, but aside from that, like, just a flawless display of that album. Some chat giving us some story about the album as well from the band. That was really cool. They finished Take the Time as well with, like, actually finishing the song, because that's one of the ones that fades out as well. So yeah, they just had a lot more fun and gave Petrucci a lot of time to play his guitar-y stuff. And yeah, it was all in all just a fantastic set, that whole album. It was brilliant. What did you make of it?
I had serious wrist cramp watching those guys play the set.
Air guitar.
And, yeah, I just had like, just watching them being like, my hands would be exhausted after like the first set they played.
Yeah.
And they played 2 more of like just top level technical stuff. It blew my mind. I think I was in awe too much to think, because there was so much stuff that I never expected to ever hear live.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There was so much music which I was just like, we have basically the same favorite albums. Image of Words, Awake, everything from that period.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, it's a shame that I'm probably never going to get to hear this stuff live.
Yeah.
And then it was all of it in one night. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh Lord.
I was like, oh, this is amazing.
Baby Jesus.
And like, just getting to witness the Under a Glass Moon solo, which is just all over the place, maybe one of the technically best solos ever recorded. It's just, I was just, in shock. Had a fantastic time, and oh my, that was a good show.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was well, I think my favorite moment from that set was the start of the big instrumental section in Metropolis Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
And just like the entire crowd was like, like as it was going into it.
It's so funny because like you know when like they're going to be instrumental for a while, because the singer he just walks off stage.
Yeah,
he's just like,
right,
I don't need to be here. So he just vanishes, and yeah, it's really it was such a good show, and that's not even getting into the secret part that happened in the end. So they played their epic from their album, which is called Learning to Live, and that was an experience in itself. I didn't really recognize beforehand how much an effect that song was going to be. Like, oh my god, I got to see that song live on it. Like, after it was done, I was like, oh my god. I was just in awe of what the band had accomplished. And then they were like, yeah, we're going to go away. It was 10:30, so I was just like, okay, they're probably going to end the gig about now. That's fine. And then it happened. There's a song that they released as part of an album in 1995, I believe.
Yeah, it was either. I always get these wrong. Historically, when we do these chats, I get the dates wrong, and you get them right. So I'm just not going to say it.
Okay, it's either 95 or 96, although I'm pretty certain it was 95. And it was called A Change of Seasons. It had a bunch of other songs with it. Did it have a bunch of other songs with it? No.
So it came.
It was
there's
covers.
One song,
wasn't it?
then there was some live songs from a show in London, which were all covers.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And it's a 23-minute song called A Change of Seasons. And yeah, I will say I was never expecting to see them play it live. Sections of it maybe, but they don't really work taken out of context of the whole song. And yeah, it was certainly an interesting time. They played it. I wasn't expecting it. I turned to my dad and I was like, they're no way playing this. He's like, what are they playing? Because he's not too familiar with A Change of Seasons, because it is such an investment to listen to. And I was just like, they're playing A Change of Seasons. He was like, cool. I was like, no, that's really cool. And yeah, I proceeded to freak out. And my dad turned to me. He was like, how much of this song do you know? I was like, I will sing every word. And he was just like, no. He was like, it's long, isn't it? I was like, yeah, it's 23 minutes. He's just like, cool. And then I proceeded to sing along for the whole song because it is so fragmented as well. The lyrics are interspersed and unpredictable. And so, yeah, I was in shock when they started playing it because
I just spent the entire time freaking out because so for those who don't know, A Change of Seasons was written to be on the album Images and Words. So part of me was hoping that there'd be some allusion to that. I was thinking maybe they would play Crimson Sunrise, like the first movement in the set or something. And like when they came back and it started, I was like, right, well they're just gonna play this, aren't they? And be like, well, it was meant to be on the album, it'll be a thing. And then 23 minutes later, my jaw hadn't closed, and I was just like, oh my god, no, what? You can't do this. What are you doing to me? Stop. No, what? I think I spent the entire of A Change of Seasons just like, no, it's happening.
Yeah,
it's happening.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. And yeah, did they record that with Derek Sherinian, or was that recorded with Kevin Moore before he left?
I think that was the last thing that Derek did.
No, because they did Falling Into Infinity post A Change of Seasons. Because
Change of Seasons was 95. You were right.
Because Kevin left in Kevin Moore left in after Awake, because I remember the documentary showing him playing A Space Die Best.
Yeah.
So then they got Sherinian in, and the first thing they did with him was A Change of Seasons, and then they did a few albums. They did A Change of Seasons, Falling Into Infinity, some shows for a while, and wasted some time, and then they got to whatever album came next, Metropolis Part 2, where what's his face joined the band, Jordan Rudess joined the band.
Yeah.
And that whole time in the middle with Derek Sherinian's considered a really weird time for the band, because they did a whole bunch of weird stuff. But yeah, they finished A Change of Seasons with him, and yeah, released it, and oh my, like I said, I wasn't expecting to see it, and oh my god, I'm glad they played it.
Because I was. And then as soon as they went from movement 1 into 2, I was like, well, they're going to stop here, right? And then they went that way. Even when they were on 6, I was like, well, they're not going to play the last one. That'd be ridiculous.
That'd be ridiculous. It's already 18 minutes in.
Why would they do that? That'd be silly. Change of Seasons is one of my favorite albums. And all the covers are all live stuff from London.
Yeah.
The rest of that album. They're all great covers.
Yeah.
Deep Purple, Perfect Strangers. It's a great song.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's my second favorite Dream Theater, quote unquote. Well, not album, I guess, but release.
Yeah. I think, last time I saw Dream Theater, I was a bit down on them. I was like, it was mediocre at best. This time I saw them.
The Astonishing tour, right?
Yes, it was. It was the Astonishing live show with both albums. This time, however, I want to say it was probably the best show I've ever seen them do. Yeah, because the first time I saw them was either 12 or 13 years ago, and they've been of varying qualities depending on where I've seen them as well. But yeah, this was easily the best I've seen them. Labree's vocal performance has only gotten stronger since recording The Astonishing, which is heralded as his best vocal performance on record as well. And it's definitely carried over to the live show, which is refreshing, and it means that on the recordings there's some imperfections which he can work out live, which I think is a real credit to the band that they can fix it, basically, with their live show. And it's just all very, very enjoyable as a time to be a Dream Theater fan, to see them live. Album-wise, I'm tepid on their latest release.
Yeah, it's when bands do stuff like this and they play older material, it makes me hopeful that I guess it can go one of two ways. And we can always be hopeful and go, oh well, maybe they'll rediscover some stuff from before and bring some of that back, or maybe they'll just go, no, there's definitely a reason we moved on from this and move away from it. Like Biffy Clyro did the thing; they played all their albums in 3 nights, and then they released an album which I was really just like lukewarm to. I was like, yeah, it's okay. Like, I was hoping that they would go, oh, here's some of the older stuff we did from our prime time, which was heavier and grungier, and I was hoping they'd rediscover all that, relearning all the way more metal stuff they did earlier. But no, they totally moved away from that and did like softer electronic stuff, and I was like, oh. But I kind of hope that Dream Theater do the same, because I wasn't really that impressed with The Astonishing. We talked about it in another show. We said it was all right, and I think the self-titled was kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
There's a couple of good songs on there, but it really just felt like there wasn't much direction on it.
I've said plenty of times that I think that the Systematic Chaos is their last truly original album.
Yeah.
And I still feel that way. But that was released 10 years ago because, it was released 10 years ago, and everything they've done since then. There's been some good songs here and there. Count of Tuscany's just a weird long song, but it's funny at points, but it's kind of questionable.
That whole album is such a weird trip. Like, I think the Count of Tuscany kicks ass.
Yeah.
But it might be some of the worst lyrics in anything ever. It's a song about someone being told a story. If you look at the lyric, it's not the story. It's about someone being told a story, but they don't tell you what the story they're being told is.
Yes, it's
so bad.
It's just hot garbage lyrics, really.
It absolutely is, which is funny because I think Images and Words are some of their best lyrical content. I think Metropolis Part 1 is probably the best lyrics John Petrucci ever wrote, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then you compare that to, like, Out of Tuscany, I'm just like, this is rubbish.
Yeah.
This should... Like, Wither's a good song. That's, like, it's kind of very simple lyrically, but, I mean, like, I think it's a good song. But, God, Out of Tuscany is, for me, the pinnacle of... Music's great. Words probably not necessary.
Yeah.
I listen to the instrumental version instead.
Absolutely.
Just so awesome.
Oh yeah, they provided the instrumental album with it and an album of covers. I'm just like, I'll listen to the instrumental and the covers and not bother with the one with vocals on it, just because of the lyrics.
Yeah, I think you're kind of aware that you don't have much faith in your lyrical or vocal performance in one capacity, one or the other. As a band, if you make a decision to go, you know what, let's put all of these just in case. Like, I don't think that's always the case.
Yeah, I'd strictly disagree with you with Tesseract's Altered State. Because
because I mean that's got some amazing vocal stuff, and they're like almost 2 completely different albums, the instrumental and non-instrumental
exactly.
experience.
There's also saxophone on the instrumental version.
And I think that's something they were very aware of. It's like they've gone for the 2 different experiences type thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a thing that came for me. I think I'm not totally sure what the story is, but I think that Ash joined the band and they'd already done a lot of the writing, so it was kind of like, well, this was written without you, so this is your take, and here's what else we were doing. So it's like 2 sides of the same coin. You get to see both. Specifically with that Dream Theater album, though, I think there's a lot of people like us for our instrumental stuff. I also wrote bad lyrics.
Yeah. I want to make another point as well about another album, which is The Ocean's Pelagial.
Oh my god, I love that album.
I like it both instrumentally and with vocals.
I probably prefer it instrumentally.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen a ton of great vocal covers of stuff from that album where I'm just like, I would have preferred if this had
Yeah, but they did write it as an instrumental album and then got a vocalist to do all the vocals for it. So it makes sense as to why it's an interesting album for listening to it as an instrumental album. The vocals do at points seem like a stretch, but yeah, they could have got different vocalists to do different parts considering it was conceptualized as an instrumental album. But yeah, that's another example of a good instrumental version of an album and one with vocals. Whereas it wouldn't make sense for, say, Five Finger Death Punch to put out an instrumental version of their albums. Oh no, that would probably be the worst thing I can imagine.
Yeah, I think I should reframe my statement. I think a lot of times it's instrumental albums come from when you can tell that it was written that way.
Yes.
They were written and vocals were added or came in after the process had begun.
Yeah.
And that kind of changed the framing on things rather than being... so I think like the first Periphery album, you can tell it was written as an instrumental album and that they, after the fact, changed stuff when they added vocals.
Yeah.
Which is why they released both, whereas then their songwriting changed for the second album, and if they released an instrumental, which everyone wanted them to, it would have been kind of weird. Because the songs would have had just a repeated riff, which is a first or something. So
Yeah. I like how Periphery have changed their approach as well. Just in terms of like, they will now more so go for strong song structures rather than like just crazy riffs all the time. Woo!
It'll be interesting to see what comes from them. I thought their latest release was okay. I thought there's some good songs on there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's not so much the kind of sound that I'm interested in, but I'm also boring and old.
Yeah.
But there's some really cool stuff coming out in general, so we'll see where everything goes.
What is the latest Periphery album? Because I can't remember. Is it
Periphery 3
Okay.
was the latest one.
Select
That was,
Difficulty? Okay.
and then before that was Alpha Omega.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're like,
I'm a bit bitter that Alpha Omega was 2 albums, because technically that would fit on CD. Like, you could fit that on one CD.
yeah.
In my opinion. They were like, oh, it's 2 different styles, and I'm like, true. And it's also 2 albums. It's like, I'm just really cynical.
Yeah,
But
that's why
how
we
it
have
felt to
A
me.
and B sides to records that we had in the past.
Because each of those albums is like 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
So
It's like, oh, one Tool's length album, please.
if Tool don't have an album out this year, I'm going to be so mad.
Is it scheduled?
Though they said they were either in the studio or have studio time booked.
Oh, okay.
Like, there's been public stuff where it's saying that like he'd written lyrics or something like that.
A Perfect Circle
There's
are playing in Atlanta next week, and I know that because Rachel and I were talking about gigs that are in Atlanta. So, yeah, probably not in the studio at the moment, maybe. But who needs the singer?
That's Tool. But what was I going to say?
I don't know.
Words, bands, things. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff coming out. Have you seen The Ocean live?
No.
I saw them in the States, in Louisiana, and it was one of the craziest shows I've ever been to, because about a third of the set, the singer was upside down. He just was hanging himself from the ceiling like Batman. And I was like, okay.
Oh, dear.
That was absolutely nuts. That was a weird show. I don't know how much of the stuff that you like. There's a lot of the modern guitar-y bands, but there's like bands like Chon and Polyphia. I don't know if that's much your bag. Polyphia, I can take or leave, because the whole like, I'm going to sound so high and mighty and like snobby here, but the whole quote-unquote like millennial aesthetic thing just kind of bothers me. Like they sell themselves like they're from California.
Oh, right.
And like all their music videos are like shot like episodes of like 90210 or something. Like one of them's just them playing guitar with like a hot girl like dancing. It's like cool. Sure.
Yeah, I've just been listening to a collection of various music. The only thing I've really been excited about is that the new Paramore album's coming in like 2 weeks.
That'll be interesting.
In like a week and a bit. So, yeah. It's just,
How did you feel about the single?
I like it, but like, I'm biased because I like Paramore. So, and I will support them no matter what they do.
Yeah, I think it's good to just have an open mind. It's interesting because this is their... Because didn't they change lineups again?
Yes, they've got their original drummers. I think it's Zach back. I'm not sure. Zach Farrow back. I can't remember which one of the brothers it is.
Because I really like the self-titled album.
Yes,
I thought it was a great
I thought
album.
it was phenomenal.
And, I think Future is like one of the best songs they've ever done. It's super different. I think it's a really good song.
Yeah.
Huge post-rock outro.
Yes, exactly. I was like, this is such a
Cool.
post-rock song.
I'm excited to see what new stuff comes out. And like, it's funny because I know that, I guess even like 10 years ago, there was a little bit of stigma about Paramore and their kind of image and the kind of person who was a Paramore fan. But what's the song called? I'm getting it wrong, but Ain't It Fun? Like, if you say that's a bad song, you're wrong.
That is a phenomenal song.
It's a good song. It's good fun. Leave them alone.
Yeah. No. I've been listening to a lot of CERN recently, or SOEN. Their album Tellurian, and they've got a new album out called Lycaia. The Tellurian album cover is really interesting in that it's a humanized rhinoceros sitting eating stuff with chopsticks, and on closer inspection, he's eating humans.
As you do.
But it's very proggy. The album won a bunch of Album of the Year award kind of things, just from a lot of blogs that I follow. In 2014, they've released a new album this year called Lycaia, like I said. That's really enjoyable. I've listened to a lot of punk. I've been listening to Pallbearer, who have just released their third album. I should know what it's called. It's called Heartless. And that's really cool because I'm a big fan of Doom. Just doom metal in general is one of my favorite styles of music. And yeah, there's a lot of good music around at the moment. There's definitely some doom that I've been listening to that is escaping my brain. But yeah, there's some excellent music going around at the moment that I'm enjoying. And the music I write just it's so isn't similar to what I listen to at all.
Yeah, I find that. I don't know how you find that, but that's something I find really strange about myself as a musician. That often I'll be like, oh, this is all the music I'm listening to, especially it's like loads of like really proggy heavy stuff. And then when I sit down to write something, it's just something not like that at all. And it's like, I'm trying. Like, I don't know. It's an odd experience when you sit down, you'll listen to like Systematic Chaos, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna write something. You'll like start warming up with some Systematic Chaos riff, and you're like, oh, here's a nice 4-chord song. It's like really bizarre how that happens.
Yeah, like I said, I've been listening to a lot of doom and just lots of heavy, slow metal, basically.
Yeah.
And I've come up with something that's like 140 beats per minute in 9/8 that's just insane. I'm just like, I don't know how I've come up with this. It's in like drop C sharp or something like that. I think it's drop C sharp. And it grooves so nicely, and I'm just like, I've never played in this time signature. I've come up with this riff, and it's heavy and fast, and I don't know how I've done it. And that's like all the music I write. I'm just like, how's this happened?
Yeah, I find that like I went out to try and I'm working on a project at the moment. I was like, right, I'm going to try and write some heavy stuff, and then it all came out as, I don't even know how to describe it, like almost indie type stuff. And I was like, well, guess I'm down this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Like, that was really not what I was expecting at all. So I just write these songs. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I never try to like write a song in a certain style unless like dictated to for Game of Bands. Like, if I'm just gonna sit and write music, I'll just play something, fiddle around with effects, and then see where it feels good, what things will go with it, will it be distorted or clean, and then how I'm gonna build a song from there, and then see what other things I can kind of do with it. Is there a clean section that will follow it? Is there a thing like that? But I don't ever go in with an intent of being like, I'm gonna do this, and it be simple and just, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do these 4 chords. I'm going to do it in this way for this part, and then I'm going to work out what I'm going to do from there. It just happens to come to me like when I do play, just pick up and play. Which is a problem when I'm like, I want to write lots of songs. I'm just like, oh, nothing's coming out of my brain right now.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, and as someone, again, for anyone who doesn't know me, I also do a lot of classical music, and it's weird that I've been thinking about this recently, that I approach writing like band music, guitar stuff so differently to classical composition, and I don't know why that is. It's just I think of them differently. I think it's because I just learned them, was taught differently. But I think I have a real problem with not finishing songs, and I think I just need to chain myself to my sofa with my guitar and go, right, no, you're going to finish this, and even if you don't like it, you can either go move on to the next thing, or how do I go back and fix this?
Yeah.
I think it's because I'm so used to writing classical stuff at university and handing stuff in. You do get in the process of, I need to be able to call this done. Which is why I think I always give people the advice, just put something out there, just finish something, and then even if in 2 years you're like, I didn't like it, you have the experience of that process.
Yeah.
And being able to go into, right, well, here's work mode, here's release mode, I've got a deadline or something, is just, because that way it gets done, you can sit on a song forever, and it probably still won't be perfect anyway, so...
Yeah.
Put it out, change it later if you want to, no one says you can't revise all your songs. We both talked about how much we love Kingdom, and that was on 2001 album, Physicist, which is like, on that album, it's pretty weird and mediocre. And looking back, Dev's like, that song was terrible on that album, so I re-recorded it, and it's now awesome.
Yeah, on Epic Cloud, he was just like, this is the definitive version of this song. Yes.
And it's so much better.
He's done that a few times as well, like on, was it By a Thread or Addicted that he did Hyperdrive with...
Oh, yeah, because that's on...
Aneka?
Yeah, because that's on Addicted, and that was originally on the first Interval.
That's the one. By a Thread is a live album.
That was the live album.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Okay. That's where I'm getting it confused in my head. But yeah.
Annika van Giersberg.
Yeah. Basically, I only said her first name because I can't really remember how the rest of her name goes.
She's great.
Yeah.
She was in a band called The Gathering, who have a ton of cool songs out. I mean, she's not with them anymore, but she's also in a new band called Ver. It's like VUR. It's like a heavy prog metal project.
Nice.
With like Dutch prog metalers.
Nice.
So I'm really excited for whenever that comes out.
Yeah. Awesome.
No doubt.
I might have cut you off.
No, I was just feeling like I'm going to be a fan. That's all I had to say. I was like, rah, 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 rah.
Anyway, I think we've reached the depths of our lunacy, so I think we'll have to
I think we've
call
talked
it
basically as long as we can.
Yeah. So, where can we find you across the internet?
I'm on the Twitters at AdamCastle13 because I'm the world's biggest Taylor Swift fan.
Woohoo!
And anyone who still uses the RT site, sick burn, I'm Attitude13. But that's like 4 people. What? I didn't say that. Rude.
There's actually been quite a bit of activity recently.
I just never go to the RT
Yeah.
site anymore. Just like in general.
I
Like, not for any reason.
No.
It's just like I miss people there, but it's not been in my regular usage.
Yeah, I've basically stopped using all social media, so I just don't know where
Me too.
to keep up with
Taking a real
people.
break.
It's just a case of I will just message people directly wherever I know that I'll get a response, and just rely on that hopefully to
Carrier pigeon.
keep friendships going. I can be found across the internet at Destroy Topham or at Etherfart, although you're most likely to find just automatically generated tweets from whatever nonsense I've been putting out. And yeah, this has been the Easily Excitable podcast. Thank you everyone for listening.
Woo! Yay!
Bye!
Bye!